For those Angelenos who are suffering from mental illness and addiction, the COVID-19 crisis has the potential for being especially challenging. But thanks to a relatively new phone application, getting treatment is now a whole lot easier. Our guest today is Dr. Tony Greco. He is a psychologist, and he's also founder of a company called Get Help that developed the app. Tell us why and how this application was designed and what it is designed to do.
As a clinical psychologist, being out in the field trying to find help for people, it's very difficult to locate resources. And the real problem is that there is not a connective communication between all the different service providers that are out there that are trying to provide help to people, whether it's a sober living house or a treatment provider or a homeless shelter. And there's no way for them to communicate their availability in real time to all of the different people on the other end who are looking for those services. What Get Help does is connect these people together and create an ecosystem so that everybody can share their information and find information at the same time.
So how has this helped you in terms of understanding the needs of the community in developing, your app and continuing with the development of your app?
I thought as a psychologist, I thought that, I might be the only one that had problems finding an available bed, and that there were other people who might, know the secret, know the way around. And what we found through the initial pilot with the city of Los Angeles, the number one thing that they were asking for was, they were like, this is great, but what we really need is real-time bed availability. What we really need is to know if that shelter down the street has a bed available so that if we send them there, they're going to be able to get in.
Now tell us how you came up with this idea in the first place. I understand you had driven all the way out to Las Vegas to help a friend. Tell us that story.
Unfortunately, it started a lot longer ago than that. My mom and dad met in an AA meeting, and my mom didn't stay sober. So, I have been saying for a long time, I've been trying to get people into treatment since I was 7 years old. As a result of my parents' mental illness, I myself experienced homelessness at 15 years old, and then got help when I was 17. After graduate school, being a doctor in psychology, you get more phone calls, not less. And so now people were calling me, asking me for help. And a friend of mine that had 27 years sober relapsed and was in Las Vegas. And so I went out there and did an intervention and just thought, if I can just get her back to Los Angeles, that's where I know all my people. That's where I know my way around the system. I've been working in the field for 20 years at this point. And so I got her back to Los Angeles. And by the time we got back to LA, I'd called everyone that I knew. I said, hey, I have someone who relapsed, bipolar disorder, chronic pain, all of these other issues. And by the way, they don't have any money and no resources. So what I had to do as a psychologist was take her down to Mission Community Hospital. It was midnight, and tell the psychologist on duty everything that I knew he needed to hear to not let her leave, right? And I walked out of there, and by then it was 2:00 in the morning, and all I thought was, if this is what I'm going through, someone who has over 20 years experience, a doctorate in psychology, I've been in this space my entire life, what does everybody else go through? And I knew that something needed to be done, and so I got to work.
Thank you so much for your time and for everything that you do. Dr. Tony Greco, the founder of Get Help, the app.